I tend to write for the people down under, and that's a metaphor that will represent the poor and working class, the ordinary folk. I think I am more concerned with the issues that affect ordinary working class and poor people. Things like poverty, the struggle, the politics, social politics, issues that are very burning to the society, youth development, senior citizens. Basically, I'm coming from down under, in opposed to upper middle class concerns. Yes, I have to deal with those as well, and how they interact.
We've come a long way through winding roads, the great white sand in our eyes, our shoulders laden with trials. Hope leads us on into grey clouds as pounding rain seep through our skulls. We've come a long way naked, craving for the bread of life, lungs thirsty, dried by the stinging slap of sun, souls angry, crying in the wilderness of death. We've come a long way from the curling lash, the master's whip sliding across our backs like a snake. We've come a long way from the logic of the white man, from the ignorance of our black brothers. Merciless tears gone from our wrinkled eyes, black wanderers in the graveyard of terror. We've come a long way, so I will raise my hand and shout out, Jah! We've come a long way, so I will raise my hand and shout, Jah! We've come a long way, so I will raise my hand and shout, Jah!
Those are the two main influences, the African Creolized influence, as well as the historical context of my environment, my space. So my environment would include the landscape, the politics, the history, all right, and the present day context within which we think survive as a post-colonial state or island. Next year's 50 years of independence from British colonial rule, 2016. All of that would be the context out of which I have emerged as a writer, from black nationalists, or should I say, the post independent states, or that period of decolonization from the 50s, late 50s, early 60s, into what we might want to call the black nationalists of the 70s, 80s, 80s, 90s, regionalists, think Caribbean influence in that. So instead of looking at myself as a Barbadian alone or island, that we have the whole of the Caribbean, which is a region, and how that region influence our nationhood. So I'm not just Barbadian or Jamaican or Trinidadian, but we are all part of a Caribbean that has a colonial past that has strongly influenced our culture, how we do what we do presently.
Signposts. Welcome to my island. I am a signpost. Read my sign. The slums. Follow my arrow along rocky roads. Meet my people. Here is where we live, in box houses, squatters, owners of children. Make us no promises. Walk with me along mossy alleys, bitter as aloes. Watch your step, or you will slide in its filth and feel the arm of its violence. This is the slums. We have no middle-class folk living here. Make us no promises. You're honored to enter our backyards, to eat of our hunger, to drink of our thirst for righteousness and knowledge of self. Come, for we are people of love in the slums. But please, make us no promises. Promise our naughty-head children nothing. Do not promise our poor jobs in fancy nightclubs. No pictures, no platforms, no speeches this silly season. Make us no promises.
Not just the poet, but art in general, I think would have a very serious role to play in terms of personal and social development of a people. The poet, especially because the poet as a form of an oral tradition is one of the oldest forms of people education in terms of passing on stories, passing on history. And I think it's one of the oldest forms that would deal with social development. So yes, I think poetry is important, especially more now in this time when it comes up against other popular forms of socialization, which could be very negative. I personally think that the mass media, present-day mass media, could be very problematic at times in terms of the socialization of people, of communities, of individuals. So I think poetry is a positive form, a form that can be used as one of the strategies to bring people together, to at least try to rekindle the memory of the past. And I think that many of our people have lost the memory of the past, and therefore the present is kind of stagnant because they do not understand from whence they come, and therefore it's difficult to determine where they go. So I think poetry can be used as one of the strategies to rekindle memory, as well as to open discussion on issues, and also as a means of creative expression and therapy. Lots of possibilities to the use of poetry.
There's this city carved out of rock, like a majestic bowl where poets drink their fill, leaving words etched on the rim of faces. This bold city, nestled at the foot of mountains, holds the sustenance of sentences within its forest of eyes. Here, the poet is a god of passion, fashioning the right phrases that will turn back bombs and calm the naked beasts. In this valley of verse, where the poet is priest, praises no politician, is not polite with his pen. Clay brick buildings crowd the green mountain rock with its modern roofs of rooflessness and breeding. I see her daughters crying from the scars of the conquistador's blade, while their men defend the traffic of death and war, poisoning their offspring at the wells of worry and fear, like their ancestors did before them. mucho el español. The language had me drunk my second day on poetry in Medellín. Colombian gold rising in my head. I am as high as the mountain sun, still cool like ganja, blowing out my poems in the eyes of the mob, waiting to exhale my glory. Mucho senoritas. Latin ladies leave you tipsy in a tango of emotions, dripping wet in the dark corners of the coffee-stained lips. Another photo op. Autographs of my person, signature that I was here in these crowded parks, where the weather is as unpredictable as the faces in the street. Gracias.